ranges. So we will be able to spit this stuff out into a more digestible format when we start to translate it into the DEOs. So if you notice in the thing, there's also this georectify. No, in task export tasks. But at the moment, the export tasks thing's not going to do anything. It's not implemented. But we will make it so that for our project, we'll be able to dump this out into an Excel sheet and see everything that we've got. Now, the other thing that we've got in here is this search functionality for searching for drilling and searching for surface samples and searching for downhole assays. So they have been working, but I've been using local files. When we get the new format of the new data that they're going to provide and the pre-existing data, then I'll fix this up. And the idea will be that as you're working through the report, you'll be able to search for specific sample IDs or surface sample IDs or drill hole IDs as partial matches. So and then it will show you whether that data already exists or not, and we can fiddle around with this information. It's not the only way that we can do it. Maybe I'll pull out the search functionality and we'll do it another way. We'll have to see. But the idea is that we want to have some easy way of like looking for pre-existing stuff. Now, obviously, looking for pre-existing stuff is important to actually sort of spatialize your information and know that you're sort of looking in the right area. So in our with our tenements laid out how they are, we'll be able to plot the pre-existing data over the tenement of where this report is meant to be in effect. And just if we've got a plot with all of the hole IDs and surface sample IDs and stuff like that for that area, looking for it spatially is going to be a lot more kind of robust. Obviously, sometimes the names are a little bit different, and searching for a name can be tricky, as the names can change depending on the sort of companies reporting on them. But working from the oldest to the newest, and we'll work through, get a real flavour of what information is already available within that area, and you should familiarise yourself with the information that's available in that area before we start to extract it, so that as you come across it, you already have in your mind, oh, okay, I think I've seen this before. And then when you check it, I have seen it before, you know this hole exists. And then the other final sort of, maybe it's not the final, but another sort of piece to the puzzle to improve our workflow is we'll get the rectification sorted out ahead of time, so that we can make sure that all the maps that rectify in this area are all rectified nicely, and then where they're overlapping with one another, any features like pre-existing drill holes that appear on multiple maps, we'll make sure that they sort of all line up so that our data lines up. So at the moment, we maybe extract stuff from one report on one georectification, and then someone else rectifies another map on another report using a slightly different georectification, and then things don't quite line up. Whereas there are things where there's pre-existing drill holes where they should be lining up. So that's the idea. So I'm going to leave that there. Don't worry about the search drilling, but if you can have a play around with the app, particularly just like navigating through the reports, and just have a play drawing polygons. I'll send out a little document that explains the shortcut keys, and then we'll kind of like go from there basically. So just work through these videos, spend an hour having a play with the app, ask any questions that you have, put it down on your timesheet as a task. Just call it app training. If you spend a couple of hours, or an hour or so, to get it set up, and an hour or so to have a play around with it, that's fine. And then we will progress. So we've got some other things that we're going to do. And then we're also going to potentially do some OCRing inside of the app. I'll get a bit of help to implement that. But if we draw polygons over some stuff, we might be able to OCR it. We'll have to see how well it works. It might be good for just an initial thing, but Abby Fine Reader is been doing a pretty good job, so we'll sort of see how we go. But it might work well for just OCRing like quick snippets of text and stuff like that. But like I say, we will be able to crop out these areas and save those polygons, and then we can use the coordinates of this to actually create a bunch of images to OCR, and that might be quicker to do that rather than doing it in Abby Fine Reader. But I'll look to you guys for a bit of feedback on that to sort of know, and we can try it when we're starting off with these earlier reports, and we'll sort of nut out some workflows, some improved workflows that hopefully will be able to help us. I hope that all made sense and you can sort of see where I'm trying to head with this, because all being well, we're going to have another year's worth of work come June, and if we can have something that organizes it nicely and keeps track of everything, it should take some of the pain away from doing the work and make it a bit more enjoyable, I hope. And then we should be able to kind of like work more efficiently and make less mistakes, and then not have this kind of like whole loop of having to go back over things multiple times in order to work out what's what. And that's not casting kind of judgment on anyone. Everyone's been working really hard and we've all been doing our best. It's more of a function that this is a learning curve kind of for everyone, and our later ones have been a lot better than our earlier ones, but I hope that we'll continue to improve and continue to make our workflows more robust and get everything working more seamlessly, making less mistakes, making it easier, making it less of a headache, making it easy to go back and validate the reports, rather than having to like scratch your head and question where information has come from. By doing it this way, we'll know where the information came from, and it will make it obvious to anyone that reviews the reports what's been extracted and where it's been extracted from. Okay, so tomorrow I'll spend a bit of time and I'll make some videos on getting started with Postgres, because that's how we're going to distribute the actual data, the pre-existing data, and how you can get a database working in Postgres and view it in QGIS and in ArcMap and see that spatialized data. And then over the next week or so, we'll be continuing to work on the app and refining this extra functionality that we need to process the transformations and export the georectifications out. So I hope that all made sense, and feel free to ask any questions that you have. Thanks a lot, guys.